Hello and welcome to another exciting Blender tutorial. Today we're going to be making a Destiny gate from Stargate. Let's do it. Okay, so this is going to be a non-specific This is going to be a non-specific gate from Stargate because there's a lot of different gates, and if you're a big fan, you know what they all are and you know the differences, and I don't. So instead of embarrassing myself and trying to make something not quite right, we're going to do our own kind of, invent our own little Stargate thing. We're going to be creative. Let's be creative. Let's be artistic. The same basic principle applies with all these guys. I'll bring this over here. So we've got some circular gate action. That's probably the most straightforward, Stargate I can think of, the one that looks like this. So we're going to do this. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to begin with a cylinder. I want that circular shape, okay? And I'm going to hit rotate on the Y 90 degrees. And I'm going to scale this up. And I'm going to scale it on the X, bring it down a little bit. Okay. Now with the cylinder, we get this nice convenient circular shape, but we do get these nasty n-gons at the front and the back. What's an n-gon, you say? Well, an n-gon is any polygon that's got more than four sides. Yeah, more than four sides. And the reason why it's called an n-gon is sort of like, it's a polygon that doesn't have an actual, I have no idea how to explain this. It's got more than four vertexes. So it's an n-gon, there you go. Okay, I'm glad you're learning things today, guys. I'm gonna switch to face mode. I'm gonna delete the front face. Goodbye. I'm gonna delete the back face. Also goodbye. And we've got this nice polygons. No n-gons, polygons. We've got four vertices. I'm gonna select this edge. So hold down Alt and click the edge. That'll select the entire edge loop. And then I'm gonna hit E and S to scale. And we're just gonna scale down. And I'm gonna create the first kind of rim of the gate. Something like this. Actually, I might even just make the whole gate structure. We'll go for that. And I will hit E to extrude again, and I'm going to grab it on the X. We're just going to do a real simple shape here, just like so. Now I'm going to hit Control R, and that's going to allow me to do a loop cut. And I'm just going to drop that right there, right in the middle. Now if you hit Control R, and you click for your loop cut, and then you just hit Escape, it'll just leave it in the exact center position. So it's this edge that we've just made is dead in the middle of these two edges. So it's like it's perfectly split now. And then what I'm doing is hit Control B. So while it's still selected, Control B to activate bevel. And I'm just going to drag my mouse a little bit. And that's going to split that edge. So when you do bevel, you get two edges out of one. Let's grab this loop now. We're going to hit E to extrude, and I'm going to grab it on the X. We're just going to bring it out a little bit, just to kind of create this raised edge thing, okay? All right, so switch to face mode. And then we're going to do is hold down Alt, and we're going to select this ring of faces, and then Shift, Alt, and select this ring of faces. So now we've got these two rings right here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to switch over to edge mode. So now it converts our selection to edges, right? So now we've got all these edges. And what we're going to do now is we're going to get rid of this outer edge. So I'm going to hit Alt-Shift and click. Alt-Shift, click the inner loop. So now I just have these edges like that. I also have these, which I don't want. So I'm going to Alt-Shift and click there. And yep, we've got this one as well, so Alt-Shift. Okay, so now I just have the edges. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all of these guys and I'm going to hit Control B, and I'm going to split each of them just a little bit, like so. And then I'm going to hit E to extrude, and I'm going to hit G to grab, X to lock it to the X axis, and I'm just going to pull them out a little bit. Not as far as our main ring, but. And what that does is it creates just a nice little bit of definition there for our little Stargate ring thing. All right, now I'm curious, what happens if we throw a subdivision surface modifier on this? Let's see what we get. That's kind of cool looking. I'm going to right click and shade smooth, and I'm going to go back in edit mode, and we're going to firm up these edges. So I'm going to switch to, it's because, okay, right. This is important note. So what I just did there when I selected all these edges and I like split them, right, and then extruded them, what you can see here, I'll just zoom in on this bit. See how I've got these two extra edges? And now I can't do a loop cut here anymore, right? Because these are n-gons, right? So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 vertices. So Blender doesn't know what to do with this thing. So it doesn't know how to cut an edge loop. It can't find any flow in it. So that was I guess that was, you know, not what we should have done, but that's all right because we can fix this. All we got to do is take this, which is a perfect edge, right? With, you know, this, the same size that we want. And we can grab this on the X and bring it right in so it's just real close right in here. And we'll let these be our messy polygons and we'll just leave them alone. So I can hit E to extrude and now I can grab on the X and pull this back out. And I can even do a double on this one. So I can E one more time and grab X. So now I've got this nice double edge and I've got another double edge here that we just made, right? So I can even pull this a bit closer. Keep that on the X axis, just drag that in. What that does is when I get out of this and I go into my subdivision surface, I get a much more hard, crisp edge. But we are getting weird stuff because of that, because of these extra vertices. So may not be, I don't know, may not be what we want, but let's just keep traveling. Bring this forward to get the same effect. And then E, grab it on the X, pull it out. E, grab it on the X, pull it out. Again, double edge, so. Okay, let's see, what can we do to fix these up? I don't think this is gonna work for us because of the way I'm modeling this thing. I mean, we're gonna get these little weird dimples, and I just don't know if they look right. They're kind of cool. We'll see what it looks like once we get material on it. I think it'll be cool. So anyways, thanks for liking the video, everybody. Really appreciate it. Okay, let's keep traveling. I'm gonna make the little like wedge things that are gonna go around this. I'm gonna turn this off for now too, because I'm just not loving it. We could do, I wonder actually one idea would be to just like shade smooth these. And this one, shade smooth. That's not bad. That's the cool thing about hard surface modeling is that you can shade smooth some areas and other areas you can leave flat. You can get away with a lot of cool stuff. All right, so these notch things that kind of go around the outer edge, let's make those. We'll start with a cube, good old classic cube. I'll scale it down a little bit and I'll go into edit mode and I will scale it on the X and bring them in a little bit. And I'm gonna grab these two edges, this one right here on the bottom, and I'm gonna hit S to scale and Y to bring it in. Just gonna scale that guy in like this. Now, let's see, scale on the Y, bring it in, and grab it on the X. I'll pull this out. It looks like it's got kind of this like inner thing going on. Let's take this face, and I'm gonna hit I to inset. Really tricky, really great tool. I mean, not tricky, really great tool. And we can inset. I think I'll do it one more time. And again, my reference image is over here. That's why I'm glancing off. And let's take this loop, and we're gonna hit E to extrude, and we're gonna grab it on the X and pull that up like so. I'm gonna go up like this. So Control R to create a loop cut and drag it right up. All right, bring this up. Let me know if you like Stargate, if you've watched it all, if you've binged it, if you're like best sci-fi, most underrated sci-fi series ever. I usually don't do this kind of thing where I'm like just kind of doing these messy loop cuts, but it's all right. It's usually a bad idea because you get lots of like pinched vertices and stuff, so don't do what I'm doing. And it's not even symmetrical anymore, and blah, blah, blah. I might even let's just cut it down the middle. So scale Y0. Scale Y0 is a great trick for getting an edge to be completely straight, or scaling on whatever axis it's on. Scale Y0, and then bring it over. Look at this dead on. Try and find that midpoint. There we go. All right, I'm gonna switch to my vertex mode, go to transparent, and I'm gonna hit B to box select. So I'm just gonna select all these guys and delete, oops, not edges, I meant vertexes. And now we can just come over here to modifiers and we can add a mirror modifier and we can mirror it on the Y. That just kind of makes it nice and even for us. I'm gonna grab these guys and how do we want to do this? Switch to my smooth. What is it? Smooth fall off, proportional editing. And just drag that in, just kind of create that kind of curve. Looks kind of nice. So now what we can do is we can take this thing and we can array it around. Okay, so let's, we're gonna have to make this a bit smaller. And I'm gonna stick an array modifier on this. And we're gonna go along the Y. Okay. And let's go ahead and make 6 of these, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Beware when using the array modifier. I talked about this the other day. If you're deforming on a curve with an array modifier, for some reason it can really slow your computer down. So it happens in the Particle City tutorial series on my YouTube channel. If you haven't watched that, there's a point where we use a circular array, and instantly I get really bad render times and everything starts falling apart, and I'm not sure why, and it takes me a couple episodes to figure it out. That was the culprit. So it's a bit weird. It may be fixed in 2.91. I don't know if it's any better, but a curve, we're going to create a circle. We're going to rotate on the Y 90 degrees, and we're just going to scale it up a bit. Not really sure what size it needs to be yet. And now I'm going to come over here to I'm going to add a modifier. I'm going to add a curve modifier, and let's select that curve that we just made. All right, so first things are going to be in the wrong direction because we need to change our deform axis, and I don't know which one it's going to be, so place your bets now. Bingo, Y, sort of, kind of. I mean, yeah. What do the other ones give us? Oh, that's a bit better, except it's going the wrong way, but we can rotate it around. We'll do that. We'll do that. So I'm going to go into edit mode, and I'm going to select everything, and then I'm going to rotate on the Z 180 degrees. That just flips the geometry around in the mesh. So that allows it to then behave properly the way we want it to with all the other stuff. So if you ever want to make a change to something that's not like, because like if we had tried to rotate this, you know, it's going to rotate the whole thing and kind of mess with it. So you have to go into the mesh if you want to rotate it in a way that's not going to affect all the modifiers. So I'm going to take this ring. Now we can control this array by controlling the ring size. I'm pretty sure we can also, yeah, wherever the ring goes, these stay with it. So I'm going to scale this down. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to take my curve, and I'm going to bring it in a little bit, but not too much because I don't want to intersect the geometry like that. Bring it out. Now I need to spread this thing out a little bit so that they fit a little bit nicer. So what we can do is we can change our relative offset. I'm going to hold down the Shift key. That allows me to move this in slower increments. I'm just going to go until they look kind of even. That looks kind of even. I want the tops of these guys to stay right up here. In fact, I'm going to scale up my circle just a little bit so they line up like that with the top ring. Actually, that's pretty good. I don't think we need to change it. It's kind of just how they are, actually. Let's expand this a little bit. So hold down Shift and just pull these guys around just a little more. Just a little more. Happy little curve. We're going to go cylinder again. We're going to rotate on the Y, 90 degrees. Scale it up so we're intersecting our geometry. Scale it up. And then I'm going to scale it down on the X so that we fit within there. And I'm just going to leave this like this for now. So this is going to be our inner gate area. Now, what else do we want to make? I should put in a plane. We're going to kind of cheat and have a bit of like a nondescript environment just for time. I'm going to do something, all right? This is spontaneous. Here we go. I'm going to scale this up with a Z, and I'm going to make a little light thing out of this. So I'm going to hit I to inset, we'll bring it in, we'll E to extrude, we'll grab it on the X, we'll pull it in like that. And then I'm going to hit Control R, and we are going to roll our mouse wheel. There we go. Like so. And then we're going to go select these guys. Oh, I hit C, by the way. That's the brush selection mode. Really great for handily selecting things. You can middle mouse click to deselect or shift click to deselect. But the big gotcha with this guy is once you're in this mode, you can't do anything else or click on anything else, and it can be very annoying until you hit escape. So don't get caught out by that. Control B to bevel. I'm going to drag this up, and I'm going to hit E to extrude, and I'm going to grab on the X. I'm going to pull these forward. This is going to be like a light, like a industrial light for us to kind of like hide in the background, make it kind of cool. So Blender is free. Well, the reason why Maya, Cinema 4D, ZBrush, and After Effects aren't free is because they're owned by corporations that want to steal your children and take over the world. But Blender is open source and amazing, so it's free. So go download Blender. All right, so yeah. Anyways, this is just gonna be something we'll use in the background. We'll just throw a material on this, just a dark kind of color for the base color. But then I'm gonna go into edit mode, and I'm gonna select these faces. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna hit the plus symbol on the material, create a new material. We're gonna click assign, and that will assign this material just to these faces that we have selected. And we can switch this one to an emission shader. The reason why I didn't just turn up emission in a principled BSDF shader there, because if you see, if you're on the principled BSDF, where was it? There it is. Down here at the bottom is the emission value, and I could make this, you know, really bright and turn up my emission strength, right? But you got to remember, your computer has to process all these other values as well, and I don't actually want any of that for this. I just want it to glow. So by switching just to the emission shader, I'm actually saving a lot of headroom for my computer. I'm going to turn this up, and I'm going to turn on bloom, and might as well turn on ambient occlusion and screen space reflections. Now, if I go into rendered mode, you'll see this guy is nice and glowy. There he is. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to scale it down. I'm going to grab it on the X, grab it on the Z, grab it on the Y. Yeah, grab it on the Y. Why not? Rotate on the Y, I mean. Grab Y and rotate Z. Just pull that over there. Shift D, grab, let's go local coordinates. And I'm going to get my handles. And we're going to drag this out like that. Hit that, Shift D, grab it on the Y, pull over here, Z, whoops, no, let's not do it like that. Let's go local, or global, I mean. Grab it on the Y. So Shift D, grab Y, bring them over, rotate Z, bring them over like this. So now they're just kind of in the background. We'll set up a shot so that things look good. In fact, let's go ahead and do that. Let's create a camera. Boom, done. And we're gonna open up our side view panel, select our, oh, we've got 2 cameras in our scene. Oh wow, I didn't delete the basic camera. That's unlike me. All right, I'm gonna lock my camera to view. I'm gonna hit 0 on my numpad to jump into the camera, and I'm gonna zoom out, and we're gonna find a nice little frame, maybe like this, maybe like that, something for now. I'm also gonna turn on my favorite, which is the Passepartout camera, that's right, sorry, you're gonna go to the camera tab, and then you go to viewport display, and there it is, Passepartout, and then we can turn it up, and that just darkens the edges. This does nothing for your renders, does nothing for, it's just for you, it's a helpful tool to help you focus on what your frame actually looks like. All right, let's get some materials going. I'm gonna switch to rendered view. I'm gonna drag my view out a little bit, and I'm gonna open up my shader editor. I will jump into the camera for this view. And what's helpful is when you unlock your camera to view, when it's no longer locked to view, you can use your mouse wheel to increase the size of your frames. So if you ever get stuck, sometimes I've seen people get stuck, like where they have their camera and they've got, let's see, viewport display, they've got their Passepartout turned like all the way off, let's say, and they're zoomed out like this, and they think they've got a really nice wide angle view of their scene, and they're rendering, but they don't get this when they render, they get this when they render, and it's like, why is the camera cropping? It's just because of the fact that you're zoomed out in the viewport. You're actually not looking at what the camera's seeing. So always remember that. That's why I like to turn Passepartout on, because it really does helps focus in. I'm going to make my world black, so I'm going to come into the world shader. I'm going to drag it all the way down. And I'm going to get this little light that's in our scene, and I'm going to delete it for now. I'm going to Shift A. I'm also going to turn off handles and everything. Shift A, I'm going to add a sun lamp, because they're my favorite. Even though it doesn't make sense to have a sun lamp necessarily in this scene. But I just really like them. And I'm going to take my lamp and I'm going to turn up the angle. That's going to soften our shadows. All right, let's do our gate first. Gate just kind of has a bit of a rocky texture to it. Pretty straightforward. So make sure we got it selected. I'm going to click new for a new material, and I'm going to come right down here, and I'm going to create some texture. I'm going to take Musgrave and grab that over here, and then let's grab a texture coordinate node. Put that right here. We'll put we actually won't worry about hooking those up just yet. We're going to go here and grab a color ramp, and we're going to pipe this into this, and we're going to pipe this into, what do I want? I'll just go with the base color for now. And I'll change my scale, just bring it around, something like this. And I'll change my dimension. If you bring the dimension down and the detail up on the Musgrave, you get more noise pattern. It's kind of like 2 levels of noise. And let's get these colors right. So instead of black, we're going to go for kind of like a light gray, maybe a slight blue tint to it. Give it a little bit of a tint. I'm going to take this one off white. I'm going to bring it down as well to a bit of a gray. and give it a tiny touch of blue as well, just for fun. Let's get these guys going next. I'm going to create a new material for this, and it's very similar actually. So I'll just grab that one that we just made, so they share the material. So I'm going to click the little paper icon and turn this into a new material, and now I can just change the scale specifically on these guys up here. All right, so we need like a glowy bit. So I'm going to go into edit mode, and I'm going to select the, oh, that's right. This is the side that sticks in. Oh, that's right. All right, I'm going to grab my faces. I'm going to create a new material. I'm going to assign this material to these. I'll create new, assign it again just in case it didn't work. I'm going to switch to emission, and we're going to make this the kind of like an orange color. And I'll turn the strength up so that it glows. There we go, looks pretty good. Now, I think I will take this circle and grab it on the X. We're gonna bring it into touch so that line intersects it. Looks kind of nice, I think. Okay, we can turn it way up so we get lots of nice glow. That looks really nice. Okay, now let's take this thing and let's go ahead and do the ripply water effect that you get in these Stargates. So I'm gonna click new for a new material. Maybe just a noise. Let's just start with the noise. We're gonna need a bump, so create a bump node. Here we go. We're going to take the factor. I'll pipe this in. Actually, I'll just do factor into the height and normal into the normal. Okay, so you see our nice little noise pattern there. I'm going to bring my roughness right down for this material so that we're very reflectant and sort of like a glossy surface. And I'm going to take my base color, and we're going to go for a really nice rich kind of blue. And let's see, I'll turn my strength right up on my bump there. Now let's find a good look for this. Oh, that's kind of cool. If we take the roughness down, is that? Nah, bring it up. Bring the roughness down. It's kind of like these really soft things to it. Now there's a little bit of distortion as well. So just turn up distortion. Not too much though, because distortion can be kind of like sharp in the peaks and valleys. So we don't want that. Let's just add a light. Point light. Boom. Grab it on the X. Drag this up. Turn the power up to like 500. 300. 200. Jump into our camera. Get a sense of this thing. 100. It's pretty cool. 50. That looks better. Stuff like that. Now, one thing we can do to kind of like create even more atmosphere in this shot is we can take this, first off, take this floor material that we've got, and I'm going to turn my roughness right down so we get lots of nice reflections. But then what I can do is I can come over here and create a gradient node, and I can pipe this into, let's see, if I go color ramp, just like so, boom, boom, boom. We can stick this gradient ramp into the factor, and then I can stick this into the alpha. Now in Eevee, remember, if you're going to use alpha transparency, you need to come over to your options for that material, and you need to switch to one of these alpha hashed or alpha blend. I'm not going to do any shadows for this. And then what we can do is we can drag this, and you can't really tell exactly what's going on here. It basically makes it fade as it goes off into the distance. So it can give us this nice kind of, faded look. Let's scale it in a bit. And let's see, we're losing our reflections a bit as well. Okay, wow, if we turn it off, we're getting it again. Huh, that's interesting. I didn't know that would happen. I didn't know that we had ended up with, maybe we have to go alpha hash to get it to work. Ah, okay, that's it. So if you switch to alpha hash, then you can get this effect to work. So the two have limitations. Both of them are kind of faking it. So anyways, we'll do that so we get this nice blurry floor. Wonder if we could cheat, duplicate one of these, bring it forward. And scale it down, right? And then come over here to our rotations on it. And zero them out. Scale it down on the Y, and then if we come in here and just get rid of this material and switch this one to like maybe the same material as the floor, like this. Scrunch it down like that. Add an array modifier to it. 0, we're gonna go up on the Z, I think. And then another array modifier on the Y. Bring it down. Scale Z. Oh, you know what we could do with this? And then and then what we could do is we can rotate it a little bit, grab this up. Like so. Pull it back some. And then maybe grab, what do we need to grab? Well, actually probably better just to pull this down and then pull this down. Just for like, you know, subtle detail. Now what we can do is we can take our camera, lock our camera to view, find a nice little frame, you know, for this. Come in a little bit closer. We could take our camera, come over here and turn on depth of field. Focus in on that object there. 0.5 maybe? So just a little bit. All right, great. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this project file and I'll put it up for everybody on Patreon. At the $10 level, you can get the access to this month's project files. Each month it cycles through a new group of project files as we go. So if you wanna jump in on that, go for it, check it out. Link is in the description below. And yeah, consider becoming a channel member on YouTube, and please like and subscribe everywhere, follow on Twitch and Facebook. I guess a lot of cool tips here today. I hope you learned some neat things, had a lot of fun. Thanks again for watching. Please let me know any questions you've got in the comments, and I'll do my best to follow up everybody. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will catch you later. See ya.